What if the very person you helped the most became the one who hurt you the deepest? What if kindness, when given to the wrong heart, becomes a dangerous weakness? This is the story of a gentle rabbit who believed that helping others would always bring goodness back to him. But one day, the forest taught him a lesson he would never forget. In a peaceful green valley surrounded by tall oak trees lived a young rabbit named Elio. Elio was not the fastest rabbit in the forest. He was not the strongest either, but everyone knew one thing about him. He had the kindest heart. Whenever an animal needed help, Elio was always there. If a bird lost its nest, he helped rebuild it. If a squirrel dropped its food, he helped gather it. If someone was hungry, Elio shared his carrots without hesitation. To him, kindness was simple. If I can help, why shouldn't I? He often said. Many animals loved him for this. But deep inside the forest lived an animal who saw Elio's kindness very differently. A fox named Maro. Maro was clever, very clever. But unlike Elio, Maro believed the world worked in a different way. To survive, he often whispered to himself, you must use the kindness of others. One cold morning, Maro saw his opportunity. He walked slowly toward the rabbit's meadow with a tired expression. Elio immediately noticed him. Are you all right? The rabbit asked with concern. Maro sighed deeply. I haven't eaten for 2 days, he said weakly. Without thinking, Elio ran to his small food storage. He returned with fresh carrots and berries. Please take these, Elio said. You need them more than I do. Maro's eyes narrowed for a brief moment, but he quickly hid his smile. Thank you, my friend, the fox said softly. And that was the beginning. Over the next few days, Maro returned again and again and again, each time with a new story, each time with the same tired voice, and each time, Elio helped. But high above the meadow, someone watched silently, an old owl named Soren. Soren had lived long enough to understand the forest, and one evening he flew down beside the rabbit. Your heart is generous, the owl said gently, but generosity without wisdom can be dangerous. Elio looked confused. But he is hungry, the rabbit replied, and helping him is the right thing to do. The owl remained silent. Some lessons must be learned through experience. Days passed. Soon Elio's food supply began to disappear. Still, Maro kept returning. And still, Elio kept giving, until one cold night. The wind blew fiercely through the trees. Elio went to his storage to find food, but the basket was empty, completely empty. For the first time, fear touched the rabbit's heart. Winter was coming, and he had nothing left. Just then, a familiar voice came from the shadows. Maro stepped forward. I heard you have no food left, the fox said calmly. Elio nodded sadly. I gave everything I had. The fox smiled slowly, but this time, it was not a friendly smile. You really are the kindest rabbit in the forest, Maro said, and the easiest. Elio's heart sank. The truth finally became clear. The fox had never been hungry. He had simply been using him. For a long moment, the rabbit said nothing. Then he quietly turned away. That night, the owl returned. I warned you, Soren said softly. Elio nodded. Yes, he whispered. But now I understand something I didn't before. The owl tilted his head. And what is that? The rabbit looked toward the dark forest. Kindness is not the problem, he said, but kindness without wisdom invites wolves to dinner. The owl smiled gently, and from that day forward, Elio remained kind. But he also learned something far more powerful. He learned to protect his heart, because being kind does not mean being blind.